What's up, guys? Auto Fanatics. So this is my 1 month ownership of the 2023 Alfa Romeo Giulia Quadrifoglio. Listen, I haven't made a lot of content on this car because it has been raining nonstop for the last 5 weeks. So my favorite month of the year is always September, not only because it's my birthday, but it's also the start of fall and some of the best driving times to take your cars out. But we've had nonstop rain, flooding, and horrible. I mean, the rain just stopped like literally probably 10 hours ago. So I want to give you guys an update as far as what I've been doing to the car since I've had it. So if you see here, I already installed the Koshi carbon fiber grille and the emblem surround. I also had Expel Ultimate PPF done on the front bumper, just on the nose, because on my 2018, after driving that car for so many years, the bottom of the bumper got totally trashed, and this paint is so damn hard to match. So I didn't want to take a chance on trying to damage this bumper, and I want to preserve it a little bit better this time around because I own this car. This car is pretty expensive. I got the Alfa Romeo Koshi GTA mirror caps. This is not an emblem. This is actually under the clear coat. Of course, we got the carbon fiber exposed roof. So I really haven't been able to do much to the car because of the weather. So now the whole exterior of the car, we got the carbon pack, you know, on the mirrors, the grille, the emblem. On the back of the car, I still have to take the chrome Giulia badge off. This is something that I've done on all my cars. I want to debadge this on my 2021. This was actually like a gunmetal gray or a black. But I left it on the car for now because I'm still playing around with some ideas because we still have like high polished chrome looking exhaust tips. So I'm deliberating, before I pull that off, do I do something with the tips? I'm still playing around with some ideas on that. FYI, if anybody's interested, I would like to sell the 5-hole wheels that are on the car. They're brand new with the Pirelli Corsa tires. It'll be a complete package. So if anybody's interested, please send me an email through the Auto Fanatic website. Hopefully, if you're locally, it'll be a lot easier, but I can ship them to you. I just want to get a different set of wheels. Looking into some forge lines right now. I want to do something a little bit custom. Also, I have the low ring springs from Alfissimo. I have the Corsa spring, which is something new that I'm going to be trying out. Very interesting. So hopefully, if the weather holds up in the next week, that'll be the next video on the Auto Fanatic channel of the 23 QV. Will be the low ring and my feedback of the Alfissimo Corsa low-ring spring. So I'm going to try to do something a little bit different on this one. I also have the Resonator Delete kit. I have not installed it yet, and I'll show you guys too. We got the carbon fiber AC vents and instrument surround. All of that was installed. You can see it here. And I actually really like that the fact it doesn't have the red accents on the interior. I just think it looks a little bit cleaner. And I do really, really like the green and white stitching. It's at night, it's just a little bit easier on your eyes to drive the car, and I do like the black. So like I said, this is pretty much all I've been doing in the past month, unfortunately due to weather. But you know what, let's strap the camera. I'm going to strap the camera on the outside of the car. We'll go for a little bit of a drive, and I'll talk some more about my feedback as far as things that I've noticed differently on this car, things that I would like to improve, and overall I'll give you guys some feedback. Do I miss my G80 M3? Should I have gotten the Cadillac Blackwing? Stay tuned. We're going to get the camera on the outside of the car. I'll talk on the inside of the car, and we're going to go for a drive in a couple of moments. All right, guys, so we're just going to go for a little bit of a drive, and I'll talk to you about the 1 month ownership so far of the 23 QV. So I got the camera on the outside. I was actually trying to do a POV video a couple of weeks back, and I had the camera on my head, and I actually got pulled over by the county cop. And so I'm just not taking a chance with that today. So we're just gonna go on some back roads over here by our car club. I mean, even though the car is not a new experience, it's still a hell of a lot of fun, and I'm still enjoying it as a daily driver. I absolutely love the car. The seats are great. I don't miss the BMW. There's like two things that I'll talk about the G80. Phenomenal car, great engineered car. The two things that I would say that I miss on that car are the brakes. I think the brakes on that car are far superior in stopping power and modulation. They just did a better job with the brake-by-wire on the G80. And I also feel that the paint job, which is cosmetic, the paint job and the body panel assembly, the fit and finish is far superior on the BMW versus the Alfa Romeo. Like I said, and I'm such a perfectionist, so if that matters to you, maybe not. I know most people, when they do car review videos of any sort, nobody really talks about things like that. fit and finish and quality materials. You know, they kind of really just skim over anything that matters. But if it matters to you, you know, the Alfa's got much larger gaps. And the more that I'm thinking about it, you know, from washing the car and having that water intrusion issue that pretty much destroyed my 2018, maybe those larger gaps are causing an issue of the seals not sealing out all the moisture from heavy downpours and rains. I don't know. Boy, we're going to have to see how this one holds up. But so far, this one's been pretty good. No issues so far for the first month. I'm just pretty anxious to lower it. I will report that the suspension, in terms of the spring rates and the shock tuning, is far superior and far stiffer than the 2017 to 2019 cars. Those cars were a little bit louder in the cabin, but they rode much softer. They were much more compliant. This car is pretty hard, and that's one thing I'm concerned about putting the lowering springs in. I was talking to Jason at Alfissimo, and he was saying that these springs are 10% stiffer than the GTA springs. Well, we're going to see how they work out, but they're like a dual rate. I'll do a video on that, and I'll show you guys the actual physical spring and show you that they're wound a little bit differently than the KWST springs, H&R, iBox, or pretty much a lot of springs that I've used over the years. And I'll specify and talk about that in that video, hopefully this week or next week. I just have to have some time to do the install, put some miles on it, and then I'll give you guys some good feedback, because a lot of people have been asking me, you know, what I think of the springs, and I've never used them yet. I've only used H&Rs. I've used the STs multiple times in the KWDDC kit, and I think they work really well. I think the 21 that I modified on the channel a couple of years back with the ST KW springs, that worked perfect. That was incredible. It just felt perfectly balanced. So I'm just flying around on this local road. It's nice and smooth, nice and paved. They just repaved these roads not that long ago. So I just wanted to kind of take advantage of a little bit of a drive and get away from lower New York where we live. A lot of debris is still on the roads from the storms last week, and a lot of potholes and gravel and dirt. So now the other car that I was talking about in my first video of this was the Cadillac CT4V Blackwing. Dude, I'm not gonna lie to you, that's one of the best driving cars in this category. And I gotta tell you, I'm gonna do a video specifically why I didn't buy that car, but the number one reason was the Cadillac dealers did not want to negotiate. They didn't want to take any money off the price of the car. They didn't want to give me any good value on trade-in for the M3. And just going back and forth. And now all of those Cadillac dealers are calling me, blowing up my phone nonstop, asking me if they want to sell me a CT4V Blackwing, and now I have this. So what am I going to do? I'm not going to get rid of this car to go back to that. I just don't think that makes any sense to take a loss. But I will tell you, that is one of the best driving cars in this segment. And the suspension on the Blackwing, in terms of the springs and shock tuning, I feel is probably way better than the QV out of the box. But they also spent, what I've heard, the General Motors performance engineers, they spent thousands of hours fine-tuning the computers in that car with the eDiff, the magnetic ride control, and what they call PTM, Performance Traction Management. And that car does things that it shouldn't do. And it's like you can hit a button and it goes from a Cadillac and it feels like a GT3 at the flick of a switch. And that's a little bit, odd. You don't usually get that in cars today. So transmission, of course, is amazing. That's kind of like a new experience. That's kind of like really what I wanted. I kind of missed having a good manual, and the M3 manual was so mediocre. I hated it. You go into a Blackwing, it's amazing. It's one of the best manuals you could get aside from a Porsche GT car. This has the 8-speed automatic. No complaints. It's the best one in the business. The shift algorithm is aggressive. It makes the right sounds, downshifts properly, and it's just a good transmission. It really is. It's perfect for daily driving. So I'm going to break off on this new road that I found a couple of weeks ago. And I've been dying to come back up here ever since, if I could remember which left turn I got to make. But other than that, it's an awesome car. I'm still enjoying it, still having fun with it. Yes, granted, I wish it was a new experience just for me to talk about, but I'm just going to kind of re-emphasize everything. Beautiful Ferrari Romeo that just went by. Emphasize everything I love about this car. Okay, so we're going to break off right over here. Some more country back roads. And if you guys can hear it in the audio, I got the microphone in the car. The stock exhaust sounds louder in this car than it did in my 2018. So I don't know what they did to these cars, but they definitely have done some tweaks along the years of this thing being into production. But yeah, no, this thing moves, man. It's a fun little car. Love the color. I gotta say, I was a little on the fence about this color, going back and forth. Now that I've owned it for a month, I definitely think I made the right decision. Okay, go back over here. I mean, I'm flying through these roads right now at, I don't want to tell you the speeds, but yeah, the suspension definitely needs to be lowered. I definitely need some more negative camber, and I think the steering weight, that's one thing I complain about the G80. The steering weight was a little too loose. And a good friend of mine just took delivery of his G80 yesterday, and the first thing he said was how loose and over-assisted the steering feels compared to the M340i he had for 3 years. So, I don't know. After I drive the AMG GTR, I think I've come to the conclusion that I like cars with heavier weighted steering versus the light steering. I don't know why. I mean, I've had the 18 QV for all those years, and the GT350s and 350Rs, those have a pretty progressively weighted front end, and the AMG is like a race car, stiff as a board. I love it. This is a little bit different, so hopefully when I lower it and throw some camber into the car, it's going to add some weight, which I think it needs. But other than that, this is my 1 month ownership update of the 2023 QV. And if it wasn't for the weather, I probably would have a little bit more seat time and more stuff to talk about. But those are just my initial observations right now. The brakes are not as great as the M3. You know what's funny? The black 23 that I did the video, the test drive video, back, I think it was June or July, that car, the brakes felt better than this car. And I don't know what it is with these Alfas, that you could get in to multiple cars that are identical cars and they all feel different. I don't know if it's programming. I don't know if it's just the mood I'm in that day. But that's just one weird observation that I have on these cars, that they always feel a little bit different. So I'm probably going to do a pad change, but I'm still deliberating on what I want to use versus all the stuff I've used on my older models. But now the car rips. The car's fun as hell. So guys, stay tuned for more content. The next video on the Alfa Romeo Giulia Quadrifoglio is going to be discussion of the Alfissimo Corsa GTA springs and real-world feedback on how livable they are. Also going to talk about the stance, because that's really important to me. I think I want to lower the car primarily for aesthetic reasons. I think the suspension tuning out of the box on this model, the 23, is really, really good. I mean, there's a little bit of roll because there's not a lot of camber. There's like no camber in the front end, but I think it doesn't need to be slammed. I don't think it needs like a 2-inch drop. I think it needs like a 30 millimeter or 25 millimeter drop. So we'll see what happens. Stay tuned for more content, guys, and I'll see you guys in an upcoming video in about a couple of days to a week. Take care.